Yo, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, short of all ages, we're back for another week of Just a Fan Podcast. What's up? What's up? All right, I am quarter host of the show, the Wildcat quarterback in the NFL Encyclopedia, Coach Williams. That direction, the defensive mastermind of this whole thing, Pedro 316. What's up?
I'm just here, man. I'm just here so I won't get fined.
So I won't get fined. That's right, beast mode, baby. Let's go. All right, hey. So tonight we're talking AFC North conversation. Now, I did not put in the title Wildcat quarterback era, okay? I take the blame, whatever. But we have two. This week we got two guests from teams, their favorite teams they like in the AFC North.
And before you bring them on, Brandon, I just want to say one thing. Yo, all you got to do, if you want to be on the show, hit us up in our DMs, either on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, anywhere, YouTube. Hey, I want to be on the show. I want to talk about my team. This is week 5 of the series?
Week 5, yeah.
This is week 5 of the series. We're covering each division week by week. Today, we got two brothers on here that are going to be talking about their respective teams in the AFC North. Mm-hmm. It's going to get good because we both, basically, one of them is a Steelers fan and the other one is a Ravens fan. And normally, I'm pandemonium. I'm the one that raised all the hell, but I'm going to sit back and be like, y'all do you. So I'm going to just give my little tidbits in. But again, if you want to be a guest on our show, let us know, man, and we'll see about getting you on. We still got several divisions to cover. So we still have the NFC North coming up, and then we still have both the Western divisions, the AFC and the NFC. If you're a fan of any team in those divisions, hit us up and let us know if you want to be on the show. Go ahead, B.
All right. So the first guest coming down to y'all, representing disqualified opinions. He is a Baltimore Ravens fan, Antoine Rouse. What's up, man?
How y'all doing?
Doing good. You have a podcast called Disqualified Opinions. Go ahead and plug your stuff in.
So I got a podcast, mainly sports, Disqualified Opinions. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Wherever you listen to podcasts, we have a link for you to be able to listen to us. We mainly do sports content, but we do have some life topics that we cover, as well as we do a topic where we cover local entrepreneurs and letting them be able to plug and talk about their business and the services that they offer.
All right. Thank you.
Make sure you like and subscribe to this brother's content.
Yes. All right. Next, and then coming in this corner, he is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Mr. Mack, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Not much, man. Thank y'all for having me, fellas. I appreciate that. I'm sorry I don't have a podcast or anything to announce. I'm just a Steelers fan.
It's all good, man.
Plug your business, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I do own my own real estate appraisal business, Mitchell Appraisal Services, Inc. So if you guys need an appraisal anywhere in the Houston area, Beaumont, Jefferson County, Orange, Chambers, Harris, Fort Bend, Brazoria, give me a call. I'm a certified residential appraiser. Been operating for about 15 years now.
All right, that's what's up. All right, so hey, if you're down in Houston area, like you said, he gave you the areas, cities and the counties, hit them up if you need appraisal on your house. All right, so I'm gonna bring our guests along slowly. Neither one of us have a dog in the fight, so
All of my opinions are completely unbiased.
Exactly.
Because we get to my
Exactly.
division, then it's gonna be no. You know what? I know how to take out the fan hat and be an analyst. So
Well, you know what? Yeah, hey, look. That's how we do on Just a Fan Podcast. All right, so number 4. Panda, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
yeah. First of all, let me preface it with this. This division is a whole lot tighter. Get my notes. This division is a whole lot tighter than what a lot of people think it is. Okay, we know that the Cincinnati Bengals in this division. Typically the Steelers and the Ravens have run this division for a while. There's been a slight power shift over the last couple of years, but I'm going to give my number 4, but I'm giving my number 4 with a disclaimer. Any of these teams could trade spots in this
Yes.
division. This is not clear cut like some of the other divisions we did in the past. It's not clear cut. But my number 4 team, until they show me something, which they've done some things in the offseason, but my number 4 team is the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
And here's my rationale. Now they've done some good things. They've added Orlando Brown and Irv Smith at tight end. I'm sorry, look at the wrong thing. They added Zadarius Smith. They added Juan Thornhill, Elijah Moore to go along with Amari Cooper. The losses that they took in free agency were negligible. These were not big name guys that they lost. Then they added Cedric Tillman, the wide receiver out of Tennessee. He was fantastic for Tennessee. And then turned around in the 3rd round, picked up DeJuan Jones as offensive tackle. Everything kind of hinges basically, though, on if Deshaun Watson can knock the rust off. And I think last year was his year to knock the rust off, get his legs back underneath him. And we'll see. Their floor is the last place team, but their ceiling is like the 2nd place team in this division. That's their ceiling for me, in my opinion. So I have them right now at number 4.
All right. So me, I do have Cleveland at number 4 for pretty much the same reason. We gotta see who Deshaun Watson is, because if Deshaun Watson is what he was in Houston, then they may not be in last place. Amari Cooper's a good number 1 receiver. I know Watson want to bring in Nuke Hopkins. If that was to happen, that would be huge for them. They have a good run game still, Nick Chubb. I think Kareem Hunt is replaceable because you can replace a running back. Defensively, they have names, but my problem with Cleveland's defense is they have yet to completely put it together. So that's why I got Cleveland at number 4. Mac, who do you have it for?
I have Cleveland at number 4 because, you guys have obviously done a lot of research on this. I will tell you why I have Cleveland at number 4, and it's the same reason year after year, because they are the Cleveland Browns.
I knew he was gonna say that.
That's it. I've said this over and over. Look, I'm telling you now, they've had all those picks. They've had all the cap space, all the rest of that. They've done some things in offseason constantly. They always are. But in the end, they will find a way to lose games. That's all it is to it.
So Cleveland going Cleveland, huh?
It is. That's it. And my analysis of the Cleveland Browns are simple because they're Cleveland. I can't get any simpler, any plainer than that, man. I'm telling you.
Well,
All right.
That's fair.
All right. Antoine?
I actually have the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 4 in the division. I just think that in the league that we have today is very, very quarterback driven. And your quarterback has to be able to make plays and win you games. And I'm not quite sure Kenny Pickett has shown that he can do that. I'll get to the Browns when I get to their pick to kind of talk about some of the things that you talked about. I just don't really think that I think the Steelers have gone far the last couple of years just off Mike Tomlin and being gritty and grindy. But I think the rest of the division has gotten so much better that I don't think that's going to get them there. I think they're going to have their first losing season under Mike Tomlin.
Okay. Well, shoot.
I disagree with that, but go ahead, Brandon, because I'm gonna say why I disagree with that a little bit.
See, yeah, and I mean, I get his quarterback driven. But I think with the ground game of Najee Harris that helps out, a good receiver in George Pickens. The defense is still strong with Watt, Fitzpatrick. They drafted that corner, Joey Porter Jr. I mean, that defense is still strong. Cam Hayward on the defensive line. So I just still think that Pittsburgh is better than Cleveland. Now, again, I did say if Deshaun Watson is who he was from Houston, then basically they can bump up from number 4. But until I see that, I just got Pittsburgh and well, let me just go and throw it out there. Now I'm putting them at number 3. Go ahead, Pando. What you guys say?
Okay, yeah. I'm honestly, I was impressed with Pickett's play as a rookie last year. To ask him to do what Brock Purdy got a lot of attention as a rookie quarterback, but nobody was really paying attention to Pickett. And I didn't think he was going to be that. I'm going to be honest. If you go back and look at our previous shows, we talked about draft breakdowns that year. When he came out, I was like, okay, he went to Pitt. He's playing for Pitt. Okay, what is he going to do? I think 2 things. One, I think we're going to basically see what he really is this season. And right now he's trending up. Also, when you look at George Pickens is him. Oh, my God. They didn't have a great season, but if you actually sat down and watched the Pittsburgh Steelers, hey, Anime Dog fan, thanks for tuning in, man. That was a guest a few weeks ago. But if you actually sat down and watched the Steelers play, it was some very, very good play. And I think because of what's happening to some of the other teams in the division, Pittsburgh might be able to move up along with their schedule, which is a little bit easier schedule this year. And then let's not just overlook Mike Tomlin's coaching. Okay, because Mike Tomlin has coached some much lesser talented teams to winning records. So that's why I kind of, I can't put them that low. My 4 for Pittsburgh is anywhere between 3 and winning the division, honestly. So we'll get into that later, but that's why
I have my comments too, because I definitely think that.
That's why I got some pushback. I can't put Pittsburgh that low. I can't in good conscience put them that low.
Wait, well, I'm not ready to rank. If you're looking for the rank for Pittsburgh, you got to give me a minute.
Okay, I was wondering if you had any pushback for why Pittsburgh shouldn't be number 4. Do you or no?
Yeah, absolutely. We're not going to be anywhere around 4, and I'll tell you why. It's going to come down the stretch. And I think some of the moves that we made in the offseason will get us there down the stretch. I think that we're focusing on the wrong player who's going to be the key, or players who's going to be the key for the Steelers. And I'll be happy to discuss that a little bit later on. I think down the stretch, we're going to show what we did in the offseason, and I think it's going to make a difference. I really do. So I was very pleased with the draft picks, and I was very pleased with some of the moves that they made on offseason. So
yeah, and plus I'm looking at the schedule now. I don't have the schedule in order, but Cleveland, outside of the AFC, I mean, of course, outside of the AFC North, but outside of the AFC South and the NFC West, Cleveland has to deal with Chicago, which they play Denver. We're gonna see what Denver looks like with Sean Payton at the helm. Mm-hmm. And they play the Jets, so that's going to be some tough games for Cleveland to win. I got Cleveland probably losing 2 of those games, so that's going to make life harder for Cleveland versus Pittsburgh.
Okay.
All right. I already gave my number 3 team, which is Pittsburgh. And I gave a few reasons why. Panda, you want to go number 3?
Yeah, number 3 actually is the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. I think that to Antoine's point, Kenny Pickett is still young. I'm not just gonna dump on him though. I think he's trending up. The issue that I have is the losses that Pittsburgh had in the offseason. Like you lost Miles Jack and Devin Bush. Both of those guys were ballers. Then just losing Terrell Edmonds at safety. That that hurts a little bit. I do like the fact that in the draft they brought in Joey Porter Jr. Broderick James, an offensive tackle, is good. Then adding Allen Robinson, Pat Peterson for 1 year, yeah. But they need to be looking at corner the following year because I think Pat Peterson got one more year in him at corner.
Yes.
Because Akello Witherspoon was not what was it. He was not. No. And that's coming from somebody who was a fan of the team that drafted Akello Witherspoon. When Pittsburgh took him off our hands, we were so happy. Because, my God. But I think those losses are going to be tough to overcome in order to challenge for the division. But I do think they're going to have a better record than last year. Again, Kenny Pickett's on an upswing. George Pickens, nobody knew he was going to be that good. Like people paid attention to the record, but if you actually sat down and watched George Pickens play, I'm just sitting up here doing this, watching some of the catches he's making. So I think he's great. What is it background? Is that me? That background.
No, it's not you, Pando.
Okay. But yeah, I think I have them at number 3 for the losses that they had to Edmonds, Jack, and Bush. Those are going to be really tough to overcome because it wasn't really addressed well. But again, Mike Tomlin is the coach, so I'm kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt on that. So
Right. All right. Antoine, who you got number 3?
I have Cleveland at 3. I think that you'll see Deshaun Watson be a little bit more like how we are used to Deshaun Watson being Deshaun Watson. I mean, the guy sat out for over a year, sat on the bench, played across the street on a totally different field. So there was going to be some of that rust. I don't think anybody thought that the Browns would do anything last year. I do think you'll see the fruits of their labor this year a lot more. I do think they had some losses, which is why I don't have them a little bit higher. Plus, they are the Browns, so the Browns are going to Brown. I just think that they're a little bit better than the Steelers. To kind of talk about the George Pickens thing, I think we all knew George Pickens would be good, though. The only reason George Pickens fell in the draft was because he had character concerns and he was fighting on the field and all of these other things. We knew he was a great wide receiver. That was never a question. That was never a debate.
I knew
when
he
it
was
comes
good,
to him,
but not that good. I didn't know he was going to be that good.
I knew he was that good. But I also knew that if you look at him, though, he also does have a tendency to disappear. I don't know if it's him or Kenny Pickett, because I'm still not sure Kenny Pickett can make every throw. I do think they're going to run their offense through Najee Harris a little bit more than it is through Kenny Pickett himself. And I think you're going to see a lot more of Deontay Johnson in the mix as well than he was last year. I think last year he kind of went under the radar very, very much. I just think, like you said, Pando, I think the defense isn't going to be that Steelers defense that we're used to seeing. Yeah, there'll be Watt. Yeah, there'll be Minka. But not having those two, Devin Bush and Miles Jack are probably two of the fastest inside linebackers in the NFL, and not having them be able to control that middle of the field, I think you're going to see a big difference there when it comes to those things. Just like I think you're going to see Jadeveon Clowney not being on the Browns impact Myles Garrett a little bit more. He'll be able to be double teamed more frequently. You'll be able to kind of push your line of scrimmage over to his side, and I think they'll get impacted by that as well.
Okay. Mac, who you got at 3?
I have the Ravens at number 3, and I'll tell you why.
Whoa!
I do not. Hey, I do not. I do not buy. I don't buy the durability of Jackson. I don't. His playing style, and not only that, having that injury before, not only the durability, I still question the dedication of Jackson to that team. I really do think once he gets hurt, and I think he's going to get hurt. I hate to say it. The guy's a dynamic player, but the way he plays, And I mean, this is what, year after year, you're going to see it, man. As his time goes on, that play style is going to subject itself to injuries. And I guarantee you down the stretch, he won't be there. I really do. And when Jackson is gone, the way that team is and what they built around, we saw it. They can't do anything without Jackson. I believe that. They can't win the games they need to win without Jackson. So my sole reason for the Ravens not being there in the end is going to be Jackson. I guarantee you. Watch. He's going to get hurt again, man. I guarantee you.
I got some pushback on that one too.
Listen,
I'll just wait. I'll wait.
You simply, and not only that, you simply just cannot play that style over and over and over and expect to be there down the stretch. And not only his durability, I do feel like defenses have adjusted to his play style. I do feel like defenses have had a few seasons to draft the players we need to draft to be able to handle him and his style. I think defenses have found a way to minimize his stuff. And like I said, again, man, that kid's going to get injured again. I hate to say it, but it is what it is. Okay. It is what it is.
All right, hold on, because Pando, Antoine, both of y'all grinning from ear to ear to get going.
Man. Go
hold
for
on,
it.
hold on. Okay, so
one thing to say.
No, wait. Let me jump on this because and Pando, I know you're the same way with me on this. We have no bones, we have no dog in this at all.
Yeah.
Let me say this: for Baltimore's offense is going through a transition. Okay, I think a lot of that Baltimore running stuff was because of
you taking the words out of my mouth.
Who's the OC?
I'm gonna get there. I just want you to
go there. I was about to go there.
Greg Roman was the problem.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna just wait.
Okay,
Greg Roman is no longer with.
Right, exactly. So and they have this new OC from Georgia, and I expect. Thank you, Christopher. Hopefully, I pronounced your name right.
It's Christopher.
Christopher. Okay, my bad. Thank you for letting me know it's Greg Roman. They have a new OC who, Lamar's going to still run, but I don't expect him to run nearly as much as he did under Greg Roman. I expect this offense to be way more wide open and passing. And I'm not saying Odell Beckham is going to be back of what he was with the Giants, but I still think he's going to be solid enough. And yes, Todd Monken.
He won't be there down the stretch either. I'm telling you, man. Listen, and here's my deal. The AFC North. Listen, man. The AFC North is not won in September and October. It's going to be won in December and all that. And I'm telling you, these cats have got to be here. They got to be ready to play. And I don't think they will be able to because of the style. Listen, Lamar Jackson, that's his old boxer saying, look, and they tried it with Tyson. They tried to take him in, change his style later in his career and all that. But when he got in trouble, he did the same thing. Went back to the same style, and by the end, he had lost footwork and all that. It's going to be the same way with Jackson. I'm telling you, and you cannot play that style now. Defenses have figured that out. We figured out the style. We figured out how to stop it. You'll see. I guarantee you. And that offense has to have him. They have just like the one thing that concerns me about our offense is that we have two terrible backup quarterbacks. And I'm telling you, man. So,
but anyway, quarterbacks.
Mason Rudolph and Mitch Trubisky.
That's the two. Yeah.
So,
that's pretty bad.
Yeah. Maybe Mason's clearly number 2.
Also, I'm sorry not to get off track, but to address one thing you said earlier, Antoine, about Myles Garrett being in trouble in Cleveland. They just brought in Zadarius Smith and Dalvin Thomas.
Yeah, I forgot about
so
that.
So they're not going to be able to shift over like that. You basically brought in a guy who was an alpha dog pass rusher and asking him to be the number 2 pass rusher now. So that's another reason why Cleveland could be better this year.
No, you're right. You're right. I did forget about that trade. I did forget about that trade.
Yeah.
I want to say a couple things, Mac. All right, one. You said that Lamar's style of play is what gets him hurt, right? I have an issue with this rhetoric because every single time Lamar has gotten hurt in his career, he's gotten hurt inside the pocket. He has never gotten hurt as a running quarterback or whatever you want to call him. He has gotten hurt dropping back to pass the football. Therefore, if his style of play is what's going to lead to him getting injured, every quarterback is going to lead to getting injured under that style of play because that's what you're asked to do as a quarterback. You're asked to drop back and pass the football. Two, you brought up Todd. You brought up the offense and just people figuring out Lamar Jackson. That's not true either. Everybody's trying to find the next Lamar Jackson. That's why Anthony Richardson. That's why Justin Fields. That's why Trey Lance. That's why all these black quarterbacks are getting drafted so high because everybody wants to be able to do the same thing that the Ravens are able to do. It was just Greg Roman. Greg Roman didn't allow Lamar Jackson to audible outside of picks, outside of plays. He couldn't change the line of scrimmage to where his protection slid to. He couldn't change his wide receivers' routes at the line of scrimmage. Therefore, he had no control over the offense. He had to run the exact play that was called in every time. So if he had to run an HB dive into a 9-man box, he had no call out of that. He had to run an HB dive or he had to keep it. So under that style of play, of course, we're going to look bad and it's going to look like we got figured out. But if you think the Ravens that you see in 2023 is going to be the same Ravens that you saw from 2020 to 2022, y'all really going to be in last place and y'all going to be hurting. Another thing, we talking about Tyler Huntley, right? Tyler Huntley almost beat the Cincinnati Bengals, who I'm pretty sure is going to be number one on your list in a playoff game away. He was one QB sneak away from beating the Cincinnati Bengals in a playoff game with Greg Roman, without a number one wide receiver, and with our defense hurt. So if you think that our team is not better this year than it was last year, I don't even know what to tell you at that point, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
You make some good points.
I tell you what, I do think that, and your comment about the injuries that he has and other quarterbacks have, that can also be an accumulation of hits also. I mean, and that happens. He takes those licks. I'm not saying
he doesn't take hits in the pocket.
I'm not saying he doesn't take hits. Yeah, because he runs like a running back. It's like he gets out there, he runs like a running back, he drops his shoulder, doesn't slide, doesn't get down. And the guy has talent. He has a great arm. But his first
that is
instinct,
such a misconception.
It's such a misconception. I disagree, man. His first instinct, if he goes and they have him running, he's ready to get out there and instead of slides and get down. I've seen him, man. I was like, dang, why? I was like, why? I mean, you know.
Did you see the Cincinnati Bengals game where he spent and he scored because he didn't get down? Did you see the spin and score when he didn't get down? You wanted him to slide on that play, but he scored instead, right? That's like asking your running back to get down. Like if you have a dynamic athlete on the field, you want them to be dynamic. You don't want them to not do what they're out. That's why you drafted him. You drafted him because he's not going down. You drafted him because he's going to make Matt Milano miss in the backfield. I want my
quarterback to keep playing too, though. I want him to know, look, man, you're what this team relies on. You don't have to run over this guy. So
I want my quarterback to be the best player on the team.
Oh, absolutely. But I want him to keep playing to be the best player on the team. I mean, that's been the problem.
But you saying it as if him running the football is what has got him injured. When he's gotten injured off of terrible offensive lines, bad pass blocking schemes, and a horrible offensive coordinator. There's no proof to that. You're just saying something and hoping that is correct when you can't prove that accumulation of hits caused him to have a hamstring injury, a knee injury, or anything of that nature. It could have just been, we've seen people tear an ACL off no contact. So you can't sit there and say an accumulation of hits caused this man to ever get hurt, because then every quarterback is hurt. Every quarterback gets hit. Every player gets hit. It's football.
I can feel the wind. I can't see it, but I mean, I know that it's there.
Why is every offensive lineman not hurt every year? There's no position that gets hit more than an offensive lineman in football. There's no position in football that gets hurt, that gets hit more. Yeah. So if that's the case, they should be hurt more than anybody. It should be everybody should have 4 offensive linemen on the IR underneath that rhetoric.
All right.
You're Pitchers fan, you entitled to your opinion, man. And
all right. Hey, that was good stuff right there, man.
Was very good. I'm loving it. I was
loving it too, man. I was like, hey, I love a good solid debate, man. This is what this is for, man.
Because normally it's me and Brandon.
Facts, man. Facts. All right.
So number
football isn't all facts, man.
Huh? No.
Football, football and sports. Football is in sports. You it's not all facts and data and all that. Football is like, look, man, I'm watching this kid play. I've watched other kids like that play before. I've seen that before. I've seen that same thing happen over and over. You know,
look,
so
that's what I mainly
wait,
disagree with, though, because I don't think there's ever been anybody like him.
Time out. All right, so hey.
Oh wow, okay.
Hey, look, I see where both of y'all coming from. Okay, Mac. Yes, running quarterbacks have gotten hurt a lot in the past. Running a whole lot. Steve McNair comes to mind. Donovan McNabb comes to mind. Culpepper comes to mind. I get that. Michael Vick got hurt before too. Actually, Cunningham got hurt in the pocket. I remember that. But Anton, also see where you come from too. New offense, couldn't audible out. I mean, that makes a difference as well. So this year, and I'm gonna say this about a lot of quarterbacks across the board. This year is crucial for Lamar Jackson in this new offense. Same thing for Deshaun Watson. It's crucial for him because he has to show that he's back to his old self. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be like that for a lot of quarterbacks this year. It really is. E.
Yes, sir.
Number 2.
My number 2 team. Now watch this. Because by proxy, if I give you my number 2 team, you're gonna know who my number 1 team is.
Right. That's cool.
And here's the thing. They made some good additions this season, but again, there's still a question about addressing the losses that incurred over this last offseason. And I haven't seen enough.
I know who he got to.
I have not seen enough to make me say that they can win this division. And that's the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh,
you lost Jesse Bates, you lost Von Bell.
yeah.
Now you're gonna ask Jordan Battle to and somebody that's currently on your roster to go ahead and fill it in. And you know how I feel about rookies. And now he could go and ball out, but then you lost Hayden Hurst, but you brought in Irv Smith. That's cool. You got better along the offensive line, which has always been the knock on the Cincinnati Bengals, was that lack of offensive line play. If Joe Burrow had a half a second longer, they probably would have beaten the Rams in the Super Bowl. Because if he had a half a second longer, Jalen Ramsey was toast, like he had been most of the year against most of the teams he played against. So, I have them second because you still have Joe Burrow, who's phenomenal. You still have that wide receiving core. You still have that running game. But there's questions about that defense. There's really questions about that defense. Both your safeties, both of them, like they say down south, both of them, BOFUM. That's hard to overcome. Now, again, I could be wrong, but y'all know my saying on this show, for those who've been watching long enough, I'm not always right, but I'm more right than I'm wrong. More times than I'm wrong. Okay. So I'm just saying that's hard to overcome. And we're gonna see. I still have them making the playoffs, but I have them as my second place team in this division. I still have them as a wild card, not winning this division because of that.
Wow.
So yeah, that's my bold take right there.
Man, I tell you what, we're coming out of nowhere tonight. I love this. All right. Well, I ain't as bold as you are, man. My number 2 is Baltimore, man. I guess I just need to see what Lamar looks like in this offense before I can really move him up to number 1. And since I already know Cincinnati's offense is already established, I'm fine with that. And plus, they added Brown at left tackle.
And here's my thing. This is the reason why I have Baltimore number 1. They're very close. I mean, I'm talking about probably a half game.
You might be right.
But this is why. Lamar Jackson was able to be dynamic, and they had a decent offense under Greg Roman, who's an idiot. Anything is an upgrade over Greg Roman. Take it from me. I had Greg Roman over my offense when we had Colin Kaepernick, and he stonewalled us because he was such a crappy offensive coordinator. So if they're able to be dynamic underneath Greg Roman, I'm thinking anything short of Jimmy Ray or Mike Martz, anything is an upgrade over Greg Roman. So that's why I had it number one. Plus, you add OBJ, we'll see how healthy he is, but they drafted Zay Flowers. Rashad Bateman has another year maturation, and you still got that tight end. You still got it. So I mean, I got Baltimore basically winning by maybe a half game, winning that division. It's going to be a tight race down to week 17. Excuse me.
Well, you actually mean number one. I mean, like one game.
There's going to be a divisional. That's why I say, yeah.
No, I get it. I get it. Yeah, but and I get it. I guess I just have to see it before I can give them number one. And like I said, Cincinnati got better on the offensive line. Now I get losing the two safeties, that hurts a whole lot because your safeties have to know the defense. They have to be very, very smart as far as telling everyone how to line up in coverage, probably what the route concept is going to be, and everything else. So I do understand that. I just think Cincinnati has enough to keep themselves established as number one. I just got to see what Baltimore going to look like in that offense. Defensively, they have a couple young pass rushers who need to step up. That's a concern for me. They got better middle linebacker last season towards the trade deadline by bringing in Roquan Smith. That was good. Marlon Humphreys at corner. They did. Hey, Antoine, correct me if I'm right. Did y'all bring in another corner? It was due to the draft, right?
We signed Rockets in the one that came from Las Vegas.
Raiders. That's right. So he'll be number two. That's not bad. Your safety, you got good safety at Kyle Hamilton. So, but like I said, I just got to see what the offense look like, and I need to see if OBJ stays healthy because he's coming off of 2 torn ACLs in the same knee. That's my only concern. So, let's go, Antoine. Who you got number 2?
I have the Bengals too, for the same reason as Pando. For the most part, to me, their defense took a lot of hits. I think that their secondary's best contribution was their safeties. I think their corners are very, very lackluster. So to lose your 2 top tier safeties in the same offseason, I think will be really, really big. I do think that they arguably have the most firepower out of any team in the AFC North when it comes to just offensive weapons. When you have Jamar Chase, you have T. Higgins, you have Tyler Boyd, who can come out of nowhere some games, even though he's a little bit older. I really like Irv Smith. I just think he's always hurt. That's why he hasn't been able to have that pop-off that we've seen, and they got him on a cheap deal. I do think their offensive line is pretty much the same. I don't think it's gotten better. I think it's the same. I don't think Orlando Brown is that big of an upgrade to your offensive line because he still gets beat by speed rushers. And we still got to see what happens with the Jonah Wilson trade request as well. I just think that they've kind of plateaued a little bit, so that's why I have them at 2. I'm not mad if you have them at 1. I mean, they were just almost in the Super Bowl. You can't really be mad if you put them at 1. I think they've lost a lot and haven't added as much back.
Okay, Mac.
I have us at 2. Unfortunately, and I tell you why. Again, I am playing, and I think the Steelers built through drafts and through other things down the stretch. I really think that we found a winning formula late in the season. Now I have to put some caveats in there, of course. I really like the addition of Roger Jones. I really absolutely love the addition of Washington. I think Washington is a guy that hasn't really been talked about, but I really like him in the running game, him helping with the running game. He's a big guy, blocks well. He might not, at Georgia, he didn't catch a lot of balls and all that. But I think we're going to have to depend on Harris. And I think down the stretch, they started doing that more and more. We need Harris to run more aggressively, or as aggressively as he did towards the end of the season. I like the addition of Benton on defense. I really do. I think Benton can play some ball, man. Watch this film, watch this footage. I think at nose tackle, and we have him at number 1 starting. So I really think he's going to help the defense out quite a bit. I'm a little concerned, well, a lot concerned at quarterback. We don't have any backups. I mean, now let's just be honest. If we're in trouble if anything happens at that position, and I think Benton is going to help because we did lose, the middle our linebackers and all that, some of our linebackers. So, but we gotta keep our quarterback healthy. We certainly have to keep Watt healthy. Man, we need him for sure. But I think we play well down the stretch. I think we play well down the stretch, especially if we run the offense through Harris. I like us. I think we can compete. I think we can beat some teams up later on down there. So I'm looking forward to that. I really think they got stronger on the line. I think they got stronger on the offensive and defensive line with the picks they had. So I like that. I don't think our key. I don't think our key is going to be our QB. I really don't. I think we're going to have to run the offense through Najee as much as possible. I think Najee's going to have to play. He's going to play big, very big this year. So,
Okay. All right. Well then, and I see that you got Gary going in a couple minutes. Go ahead and tell us why you guys. What you got? Cincinnati at 1.
yeah. I just think they have too much firepower right now. I think they win enough games early on. I think they win enough games early on to win to win the North. Burrow. I've watched that kid, man. Burrow can play some ball, man. And not only that, they put the firepower. They put the receivers around him. I am, like you guys are, concerned about their defense, but I just think those guys can spread the field. I think they can play. I think they win enough early on. As long as they stay healthy, I think they're going to be a problem. I think that team's going to be a problem for a long time. So,
I think that the Cincinnati Bengals defense is going to be a little bit better just because Eli Apple's no longer playing for them.
Hey, look,
they could go out there with 10 players and not have Eli Apple.
Look, Eli Apple should never been drafted in the first round by the Giants, okay, out of Ohio State. Like what Eli Apple was in NFL, he was in college. He was toast all the time. He was terrible.
This is the Eli Apple hate podcast. No, nobody in this podcast like Eli Apple.
Look. I'm a Cowboys fan. He was in my division first, okay. And every time we went against the Giants, I said, just target Eli Apple. I don't care who you gonna put some guy from UPS or McDonald's at wide receiver, and he'll burn Eli Apple, man. It was bad.
I forgot to mention, and I didn't even say, man. I'm really glad we picked up Porter. I really do think I think Porter's gonna make some plays. I do have some concerns with how handsy he is sometimes.
Thank you. Very good.
I do have some of that. In college it's a 15-yard penalty, but I just think that I think he's gonna make some plays, and I think he's gonna be able to control a side. But man, I'm a little worried about how handsy he is.
He's a cornerback with a linebacker mentality.
Yeah. Well, why he has a linebacker mentality?
Right.
Come out.
Right. I've watched some of the highlight films of him in college, and I've seen him actually get away with a few stuff. I was like, oh,
yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason why he fell a little bit in the draft, because people are looking at the film like,
yeah.
They're like, bro.
Hey, I mean, he's a real throwback corner because it's not just because of his dad, but you got to remember who coached his dad, Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher coached his dad first, so that's a real throwback corner right there.
Yeah. I think I don't know about this year, maybe next year. I think you can put him on a good receiver, take him out of games, but I do worry, man. That's gonna be that one big play. You're gonna be like, oh no.
But you know what?
The good news is he got to go out there and learn. He got to get trial by fire. The good news is that his issues can be coached.
Yes,
he has all the physical attributes.
Out my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he has all the physical attributes you need in a shutdown corner.
Yeah.
What's got to happen with him is that he's got to listen to his coaches and be like, hey, man, you can't do that. We got to work on his hand technique, okay? Because you're going to get us PIs and you're going to cost us games.
Yeah.
So
a 6'2" corner with arms that long or whatever, man.
Right.
That's some potential to make some really good plays.
And a 4.40. So, that's
absolutely.
And that's good speed to go with it.
Absolutely, especially the defense.
That's good. That's a good high speed combination, man. 6'2", 4.40.
Especially the defense that can put some pressure up like that. I mean, he can make so he has opportunity to make some plays.
Yes.
I'm just a little concerned about some of the handsiness that I've seen him do in some of the highlight reels with him. So that that's one thing. So you got to watch out. But
it's on your DBs, coach, man. It's on
yeah,
him.
yeah. But look, fellas, it has been really great, man. I got this project due at 8:00 in the morning.
Man, do your thing,
I'm
man.
trying to
Thanks for
work
being
on it,
on.
man. But I do appreciate the offer, and hey, man, we'll see how some of this works out down the line. You know,
Hey, man, we'll have you back. We'll
yeah?
have you back.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
We might have you back
right.
during
Catch me
Steelers
in
Ravens
December.
week.
Catch me in December. Catch me in December, baby. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Listen, in the North, no matter what anyone says, that is when the season really starts. I'm telling you, man, when it gets cold, it gets brutal down the stretch, you're going to see, man, you have to build a team that's going to be there down the stretch. I mean, it's hard. You can never say, man, there won't be any injuries at all. But, man, in the AFC North, in December, it's always going to come down to December. It just is in the North. I mean, it just is what it is. I love that division. You know, the rivalries are strong or whatever. I wish the pitchers the best of luck. I had to get one in on you, brother, but I really do wish y'all the best of luck. So God bless y'all, man. It's been a pleasure talking with y'all. So
all right, thank you. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on, man. That black and blue division, man. Those guys, man, I tell you, I used to enjoy watching those Steelers Ravens games. Guys hitting each other hard and stuff. All right,
it's gonna be there for a while. So
yeah. Anton, why you got Baltimore #1?
Yeah, I have Baltimore 1. Reason I have us 1, I just feel as though they've done everything they needed to do. I would like to see a couple more moves, but so far I've liked everything that the Ravens have done this offseason. 1, you get rid of Greg Roman, which is something that we should have done prior.
Absolutely.
2, I feel as though we did really, really well in the draft. We normally do well in the draft. We kind of let things fall to us and take best player available. And we just adjust everything. I would like to see probably another addition at cornerback, as well as possibly seeing what's going on with like our pass rush group. We kind of do need either Owe or Jabo to kind of break out this year to kind of help that defense out a lot more. I wouldn't be mad at Marcus Peters coming back, but I think we need to see where he is another year removed from that ACL injury. But I think Lamar is going to have a comeback year. I feel as though a lot of people doubted him. A lot of people have been mad at him. He's been the talk of most of the offseason with the contracts and everything like that. But I think he's going to come out and it's going to look like 2019 Lamar MVP season.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think, and we're looking beyond this year, how do you think Lamar's contract will affect the team moving forward as far as cap?
I mean, I think every quarterback's contract affects the team moving forward with cap. So I just think that's the state of the NFL. They're already about to rework Patrick Mahomes' deal to give him more money. And if you look at his deal, like once the 5 years is up, when he starts getting into those 10-year parts, his cap hit is over $50 million. So you're going to have to win in the draft. That's why a lot of teams try to win while their quarterback is on that rookie deal. But I don't think it's going to matter as much because we do hit in the draft very often. We do play well with draft and like veteran players.
Now, I'll rebut that. I'll rebut the Patrick Mahomes comment because I like to rebut that because Patrick Mahomes has gone on record as saying he's willing to cut away part of his salary so the team can stay winning. He's like, literally, I'm good. I'm gonna be great for the rest of my life as far as money is concerned. I want to continue winning. Now, the issue, because you're right, if his salary stayed the exact same way, it's going to hurt the Kansas City Chiefs down the line.
Mm-hmm.
But guys like Pat Mahomes have already come out and said he's basically taking the Brady mentality about things. He's like, if I need to, I will take a pay cut to make sure that we keep this guy or that guy or that guy so that guy can get paid so we can keep winning. Do you feel that Lamar Jackson, with everything that he's gone through and all of the tumultuous time of this offseason, will have the same mentality that Pat Mahomes has?
Yes, and the reason I do is I think Lamar Jackson is one of those players that really just loves the game of football. I think that's something that has never been in question when it comes to him. I think this offseason has been something that has just been a lot of he say, she say, and nobody really knows what was going on because the Ravens, a lot of things don't leak from the Ravens. You don't really hear a lot of these stories. I think a lot of the stories were made up. Even if you look at kind of like Stephen A. Smith, he would go on First Take one day and say something, and the next day he would say something totally contradicting what he said the time before. It was just a lot of people grasping at straws to kind of have that headline of what Lamar Jackson, what's going on with Lamar Jackson. Even if we look at something like Marquise Brown, when he asked to be traded and didn't get traded for a whole nother year, and we didn't even know he got traded until the draft. I think the Ravens do really well with players, giving players their requests, whether it was like Hayden Hurst or Orlando Brown. We kind of have that good mentality with our play. I think our play give it back to us. I mean, his cap hits aren't that large from what we see until like 2026. I don't think he's going to continue having like a $70 million cap hit in 2026. I just don't see that as being something that he would do. So I do think you'll see that kind of stretched and he'll continue to get his money. He plays quarterback. Quarterbacks in the NFL, they get their money regardless. If you are a quarterback, you're going to get paid. Shoot, Andrew Luck is still getting paid from the Colts. And I don't even remember the last time Andrew Luck played in the NFL game.
Man, yeah. And that's part of the reason why you guys got rid of Greg Roman, because you got to go back to Andrew Luck. The coach didn't protect him. The Indianapolis coach did not protect Andrew Luck, and it was sad to see him retire pretty much in the middle of a preseason game, even though he waited till after the game was over with, because they showed on camera him telling one of his teammates, "Hey, I'm about to retire." He knew that he was finished. So, good job by Baltimore handling the offseason the way they did. I also think for Lamar, I think this was a learning experience for him to grow this past offseason with so much national media headlines talking about him possibly being traded, then saying, "Oh well, no one wants to trade for him." This was a learning experience for Lamar Jackson. He might be motivated enough where Baltimore could end up being number one. I know I gave my rankings, but it's still wide open. I wouldn't put it in pen. I'd rather have it in pencil.
So I'm not mad at that.
So Lamar's contract this coming year is $22 million. It's not going to be hard to work that out. However, 2024, you're looking at a $33 million cap hit, and in 25, $43.5, and then in 26, $74.5.
Okay, but
I don't think you're going to see the 74.5.
Well, so
but I mean,
now we also got to remember too, Eric. The salary cap is going to continue to go up because we're getting these contracts coming in. We got new stadiums. That's not going to affect the cap for another few years. So I'm gonna lay off for that. But the cap is going to go up, and we also got to see who Baltimore loses as well, which could keep the cap good enough for Baltimore not to have to do anything until 2026. And as long as they continue to draft well and develop players, they should be fine.
But how are you going to you're talking about losing players, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but
that's fine.
You're talking about losing players, but the goal is to stay competitive. So if they lose players,
right? But also that's why I said they a team that draft well. They know who to keep, when to keep them, and when to let them go. It's when I say lose players, I'm not just saying, "Oh, go ahead and cut Roquan Smith right now." You just traded for him.
No. I'm not insinuating that.
Right.
But let's say some of your high dollar free agents depart. Now you're not competitive in a very competitive division. This division is going to be competitive for a while. I really feel like the division winner for the next 3 or 4 years. We're probably talking about a 1-game difference between the winner of this division and the second place team and so forth. This is not. I don't think there's going to be any scrubs in this division for a hot minute.
No, you're right.
I just don't know who's really like not signed though. Like when you really like kind of look at our roster, you have Kevin Zeitler, guard. He's trying to get a new contract. That's somebody I could think of. I'm pretty sure Patrick Queen is just done after the season when it comes to his tenure with the Ravens. He was more of a Mike instead of a Will kind of like linebacker. He was more of that off But you just drafted Trenton Simpson, who's going to kind of step into that role. I don't think that there's like a spot where we have to have top dollar to kind of sign somebody. And I mean, I do know our cap hit for Lamar is going to go up to 33 and 43. But I mean, right now, the Chiefs just won last year, and Patrick Mahomes' cap hit was what, like 35, 39, something like that. So you can win a Super Bowl with a large cap hit. It's not something that's not possible at all. You just got to draft well. And I do think that out of the 32 NFL teams, I think the Ravens are top 5 in drafting every year. I think we do really, really well. We find a lot of diamonds in the rough. I really liked our draft. I really like the Steelers draft too. I think they had a really, really nice draft. But I think we'll be fine. I think the Ravens will figure it out. I think Lamar will figure it out. I think this was, like you said, a kind of eye-opening situation for him. Managing yourself, it's your first contract. You are a quarterback. I think the Ravens kind of played, well, we'll let you kind of see what your market is to an extent. And it worked out for both parties. I mean, he's a millionaire. He'll always be a millionaire. It's nothing about that. But I think you're going to see MVP level Lamar again.
Yeah, I think he's highly motivated. Football is all about draft and development. I don't care what level you on. If you're not developing your players, you're gonna fall behind. And Baltimore is just not gonna fall behind to the point where they will not be competitive. They're going to draft well and they're going to develop their players. I've had respect for Baltimore's drafting since for the last 25 years easily. So,
I mean, I could only think of 2 players where the Ravens let them go, and you said they were still good after we let them go. The only 2 players I can think of where after we let them hit free agency and they still put up numbers, whereas Darius Smith and Matt Judon. Outside of that, I can't think of a player where they left the Ravens organization and you thought they were better than they were with the Ravens, or they didn't start to decline after they left. So I think we do really well with letting players walk when we should.
yep.
It's
You got anything else?
Yeah, I was saying the Ravens are a well-managed team.
No, they really are.
I think if I was going to really just pick, I would say I don't really. They haven't done really well drafting wide receivers. I'm not saying the receivers suck.
No, you can say that. You can say that.
But they go in every time they go in for a wide receiver. He's just meh. He's not. Ooh, like that.
Because, yeah.
No, that's a fact. Our best drafted wide receiver is Torrey Smith. That's hands down, no questions asked. I do think Rashad Bateman, if he can get over this little injury bug that he has, I think he showed a lot of flashes early on last year. And I think we got to take out of context what we've seen from Ravens wide receivers like him and Marquise Brown, because I don't think people realize how bad Greg Roman was. I'm not saying that he was like the worst.
You don't have to explain to me. I'm a Niners fan.
His passing concepts were just not wide receiver friendly at all.
You do not have to explain how bad Greg Roman is. I am a 49ers fan.
He would tell you, man. He would tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Greg Roman was more, and correct me if I'm wrong, he was trying to be more of an option guy anyway with Lamar Jackson, because he ran a whole lot of option, especially the first 2 years.
I think the big thing with Greg Roman's offense is Greg Roman wants every instance in his offense to kind of look alike. So he wants you to, like, if you see a man in motion, he wants there to be possibly 3 to 4 plays that could come out of that same man in motion. You could possibly hand it off to him. You could fake it to him and then give it to somebody else. He wants you to be confused while you're looking at his offense, so that you're staring at the person with the ball or the people that might have the ball. That leaves openings for just holes, because he is a master in the run game coordination. I will never disrespect Greg Roman and say he does not have an amazing run game, because he is probably top 5 in run game coordination and things of that nature. It's just he's
one-dimensional.
Never been able to do that passing. He's never had an offense ranked higher than 17th in passing. It's actually really bad. I'm so happy that I will never see another slant out, hopefully ever in Ravens history, because he loves running slant outs. and Patrick Ricard going in motion and catching passes out the backfield. I hope to never see that ever again in my offense. But I think the Ravens offense will be really, really fun this year.
It will be.
Odell, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Isaiah Likely year 2, Mark Andrews, Gus Edwards, another year removed from his injury, J.K. Dobbins, who I think is one of the most underrated running backs in the league. He's led the league in yards per carry the last 2 years, his first 2 years in the NFL. I think he's gone really, really under the radar. I think this team is built to last. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be really, really fun to watch. Really, really fun to watch. I also think that Marlon Humphrey will have a lot to prove this season. He just came out being a snub on top 10 cornerbacks in the league. And I don't know. I think he should be in everybody's top 5 personally. But that's a story for another day, I guess.
Well, we are right at an hour. We got it right down to an hour, ladies and gentlemen. So this has been another edition of Just a Fan Podcast. We'd like to thank our guest Antoine for coming on, and Mac Mitchell, who's a close personal friend of mine. We grew up together in little old Beaumont, Texas. Again, we have 3 more weeks in our division breakdown series. Next week, we are going to the frigid black and blue NFC North. If you would like to be a guest representing a team from the NFC North, let us know. Contact us on any of our platforms and in the private messages. Hey, I'd like to be on your show. If you're a content creator, great. Even if you're not a content creator, it doesn't matter. As long as you know what you're talking about and you can eloquently get your points across on this screen, we want you on the show. And we would absolutely love, and I'm speaking for Brandon, and I know he's going to agree with me, is if we could get a representative for every team in that division on the show. I would love to see that.
Go ahead.
But thank you for logging on. Those of you who are watching, if you have not done so, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell and follow us on our platforms. Antoine, please, once again, plug your podcast, sir.
My name is Antoine Riles. I'm from Disqualified Opinions. As you can see below, I am on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Everything is going to be Disqualified Opinions or Disqualified O. We do sports. We don't just talk. We do talk heavily about the Ravens, but we do weekly sports on all teams. We cover the draft. We cover everything you need to know. We also do NBA. We have an Allegedly where we talk about life topics, and we have our Entrepreneur where we talk about Black entrepreneurs and just them being able to put themselves out there and share their product with the world. Thank you guys for having me. It was great. It was nice talking. The Steelers fan it's always fun to go back and forth with Steelers fans, so I enjoy it. But check me out.
All right, so Antoine, actually, you about to get a new subscriber in a few minutes.
Thank you.
No problem. So this is shoot, what was I gonna say? Okay, yeah, this has been another show of Just a Fan Podcast. We are currently live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and for the second time, we're on Twitch. So you can also watch us on Twitch. Follow us on IG, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. You can listen to us on Google, Apple, and Spotify podcasts. Antoine, thanks again for coming by. Join us on the show. Hopefully, you'll watch some more of our shows. We're live every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. Pando, defensive-minded guy. What's up?
It was a great show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And me, quarter host of the show, Coach Williams, the NFL Encyclopedia, the Wildcat quarterback that runs this show. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out.